Alrighty, let me show you what you will be doing for your Article 3. So I've got the instructions and an example right here for Article 3. Let me go ahead and open this up. Now, for Article 3, it's going to be very similar. Oops. It's going to be very similar to what you did in for your Article 1 and Article 2, except this time you want to find something that specifically has a p-value somewhere within the work. So, and you also still want this to be topic wise related to what you've been doing since Project One, Project Two, Article One, Article Two. So like keep the same theme going as much as you possibly can. Now, again, it may be difficult to find something that's super related to what you did. So as long as it's still within the same space, like if you did students, video games, try to find something related to that. If you did nurses, still try to keep it somehow related to like nurses, as much as you can possibly do. Okay. Now, as far as like the places to go and try to find an article that has a p-value in it, it's really going to be about the way that you search. So hypothesis tests or statistical tests are going to be some of the best keywords to have in there. So if I was trying to find something, let's say about nurses and like them making errors, like I could search that. And what I'm going to do right now is just focus on. You could use Eric JSTOR or I think Google Scholar. I know a lot of students use this and are able to find something usually pretty quick. So let's say I'm doing, like I already have it actually here. Yeah. Oops, went through too fast. I did nurses, sleep deprivation, statistics, or you could also put statistical test or hypothesis test. Because if you just put only statistics, then it's going to find stuff like percentages, averages, correlations. But we want something that's got p values in it. Now, I see immediately a lot of stuff that comes up. If you see something that's got the PDF to the side, those are really good because the article's like available just by clicking it. If you see something like this one here that doesn't have the PDF, might be a little bit harder to track that down. And I'm just gonna go with the first one to see if it's got even any p values at all. And not to say that the very first thing has to be the thing that you do. And so as I go into this one, it's got the abstract talking about what the general like overall purpose of the study was. It's got their methods, like how did they actually do the study. It's got the results. Now this one's got percentages, but there it is. Yeah, it's got a p-value. Got a p-value of less than 0.001. Now this seems pretty short, so I feel like that may not have been like all of it. Well, there they go. They've got the introduction. So what you'll want to do for any of these articles, let's say you found one, you're like, okay, I think this is the one that I'm going to use. Take some time to read through the introduction. That'll give you background to, so like maybe the motivation for doing the study. Take a little bit of time to read the methods. That is where they'll explain, was this observational? Was this an experiment? How many people? Who did they collect data from? And then one of the other big things is going to be the results. And that's what I'm trying to skim down to real quick. They will eventually give you the results. And a couple things that I can see here, I can see confidence intervals, I can see some percentages. But one of the best things to be hoping for this article are p values, and there they are. Yeah, right. This column over here to the far right has p values. Now, at this moment, I have no idea what this study's about. I can see like mental speed, I can see response, uh, these working memory, I can see different variables there. So by those being there and the p values being over here, it's letting us know that each of those things either were or they were not significant. Now, you want to do this article about the time that we are doing hypothesis tests in this class, which is going to be chapter 4, chapter 5. Again, you'll look at the calendar for when this article 3 is due. But once you start feeling like, okay, I've got the groove and the understanding of like what hypothesis tests are, the purpose of p values, you can see p values showing up here as well within the paragraph. So you either might see p values like in a table, or you might see them mentioned here within the discussion. Now, what I like about this article is it's not necessarily telling you what the p value was. It's just telling you that it was smaller than this level of significance. And something like that, p value like smaller than 0.001 would be like a really good p value. The other place that you can go is the discussion. If you ever do find an article that just seems like so overwhelming, like with packed with so much information, the discussion can be a really good place to go and read, where they kind of give you the, hey, here's the main thing we discovered, or here's the main thing that we found that mattered or was significant. uh, so like this one here says, our present study reported 69% of shift worker nurses were affected with sleep deprivation, um, so on, so on. So it's got some like big conclusions there, kind of big statements. This doesn't have any of the p values, but you would from here get an understanding of what they said was significant or mattered, and then you'd be able to go up top to find the p values. Then they have like limitations conclusion. So this one right here actually would be perfect as a something that if someone was doing something about like nurses um, and that like field of study. It's got hypothesis tests, it's got p values. You'd be good to go. Now, what I did do is included down here what all you want to make sure that you include in your paragraph. Like what was the purpose of the study? What were the variables? What was being tested? How they do the study? What was the p value? What was the level of significance? What was their conclusion? And then also just one closing statement about, did they convince you? Like, did you feel that the study was done in such a way that the conclusions like make you believe that, oh yeah, that they convinced me that the results are legit, or solid. Now, as far as the p values, you might find some that give you specifically what the p value is. Like this one here, it said the p value is 0.004, or you might find some that just give it to you this way. The p value was small, or the p value was small compared to these levels of significance. And you can mention it that way as well. It's that they didn't specifically tell you what it was. They're just letting you know that it was small. And then you'll write up a paragraph, you'll upload that with the link, and then I got two. You only need to do this once. Now there are two examples here, but you only need for this one just to do just find one article for your article 3 that's got a p-value. And this is an example from one of my previous students. I thought they did a great job talking about what the purpose of the study was, what was being tested, what they find out. This one was about nurses, and that yes, if they are sleep deprived, that is a significant factor in them making more errors. But then there's the link to the article, and then this was a completely different student, different project. There's the link to her article. She was in this article, she found that there are certain things that do contribute to someone having more of a enriched or quality of life. And there was a lot of variables in this one. And so she didn't mention them all. She just mentioned 3 of them. Physical activity, diet, and your spiritual development. All 3 of these had p values of 0 at a level of significance of 5%. So they all seem to be important factors in order contributing to you having a more like happy or enriched quality of life. Again, you're only doing one article 3, with that has a p-value, but you got to make sure you mention the p-value, the level of significance, and just do a nice, summary of the study. Now, you don't have to highlight it the way that I have it here, but you should be able to find everything that's in in these bullet points. And please don't give me a list of bullet points. Like, write me an actual paragraph when you do this. Um, you don't have to reach out to me to get approval, but if you do find an article and you're kind of second guessing whether it's appropriate for the article, just send it to me. Just send it to me in email and I can check it out for you real quick. And no plagiarizing, please. Don't copy and paste stuff from the article. Just read it, take some notes, and just put it into your own words. But make sure you hit all these important key pieces of information. And that's it. I mean, let me do one more. Like Eric and JSTOR, I mean, they're great. You can use them. But suppose I was doing, again, just Google Scholar. Again, I have a lot of students that have a lot of success with Google Scholar. And so let me just change up the project. What if I was doing health? Let's say exercise, sports, injuries. I mean, that might work, but the thing that's going to help you get to a p-value study is to put in either a hypothesis test or statistical test. And I've got a couple things that come up with PDFs already. I don't know if these are going to work or not. So let's suppose I click on maybe the second one here. And as it goes through its little thinking, it gets me into there. It's got its summary. Now, if I don't see any p-values, and I'm going to back out of this one and be like, nope, this is not going to help me. But the abstract is going to give you sort of like an overall, like what the study was about. The the there'll usually be like a discussion. That's going to be a section about the methods, like how they did the study, and then eventually you'll get to a part that's got the results. Now, I'm starting to look at some tables here. And right now I'm just seeing a lot of like verbiage and vocabulary. And I'm gonna keep on going. Let's see what happens. There's a table there. Still no p-values. So part of me is like, well, maybe I shouldn't use this one because I don't see any p-values or anything that seems to suggest a hypothesis test. Flexibility, da 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 da. Oh, and there they are. Yeah, so this one didn't have them in a table, but you can see the p-values here. Now, again, I haven't read this article, so I don't know what it's about, but it's talking about related to stiffness. Again, my quick little assumption here is, there are things that do contribute to you having injuries, and I could imagine, yeah, if you're feeling all stiff and not flexible, that could maybe lead you to a bigger chance of having injuries. So this would actually work. Yeah, and again, the way that I went about finding this one that's got p-values, there's another p-value right there, is by making sure that I put in, there's more p-values over there, is putting in that I wanted something specifically with a hypothesis test or a statistical test. So I'm actually glad that I found this example here just sort of on the whim because it's got p-values that were not mentioned in like a table, but within like the paragraphs themselves. So this one would be an appropriate study to do to use for like Article 3, and it's a different topic. But I think that's enough. Yeah, I think that's just again that's me just trying to introduce the whole purpose of what Article 3 and your summary is going to be about. Got to be something with like a p-value in it. Now, some articles might not do p-values, but they're still hypothesis tests, but instead use confidence intervals. You can also do those as well. But I say like probably 95, 99% of my students are going to use stuff that specifically has like a p-value mentioned in it. Yeah. But again, remember if you end up finding a study where they say, hey, the p-value for this was like small, that's them saying it was significant, probably not a fluke. But alrighty. Well, I'll leave it at that. And then again, if stuff comes up, just reach out and let me know.